Here we are again, week 13, and I've just got back from Aldi, so I wanted to show you the process again of getting in the freezers and writing the menu plan for the week. But this weekend has been quite busy. We've had people visiting to help us out with the outside work that we're doing, and we've had people just visiting anyway. So I've actually been to Aldi, spent less than £25, which was great, got a good shop for the week, and then came in, had visitors, so just put it away while I was talking to them. Totally forgot that I should have filmed it, or not should have, but that I wanted to. And I have been in the freezers, so let's have a quick look, because I did quickly show you what I got out of the freezers, because that's going to form the basis of this week's meal plans. So let me just add that in now. So out of the freezer we have got some feather steaks. There's 2 in there. This is a ham to go in the slow cooker or to roast. This we've got 2 drumsticks, 2 thighs and 4 wings in here. These are lamb loins, a couple of lamb loins and some diced lamb, some diced venison and 3 packs of sausages. And I forgot to say, if you're new here, I'm Tracy and this is our smallholding adventure. We are in the middle of, or almost in the middle of, a 35-week-long challenge where we're spending a £25 a week grocery budget. That's just for food that we have during the week. It's not for household, you know, the essentials or washing up liquid or washing powder, things like that. It's just for food. And we had a little blip a couple of weeks ago when my husband fell off some scaffolding and broke his back. So that was, we spent more over those couple of weeks for ease for me, but we are well and truly back into £25 a week. So this week I'll get the receipt, but I think it came to £22 something. And I got, I didn't go for luxury items. Last week was a bit of a, we got like things like crunchy nut cornflakes and things like that, because we just, you know, it was one of those weeks, and we didn't spend over the 25, so that was fine by me. I did get some cookie cutters that weren't on the budget because they're separate, and that's them. So we're going to be making some Christmas shaped cookies coming up into December. And what you're going to see over the next few weeks as we enter December is more things like game coming on the menu. You can always replace any meat that I use with anything else. So for example, if I use chicken, you can use pork, turkey, you know, sometimes you can either go for lamb or beef depending on what the dish is. Don't be frightened to chop and change. Any recipe that I make is always adaptable. So I need to write the menu plan out, but now that we've seen what the meat is that I've got, the ham's going to be for packed lunches again, and for dinners, for, we call them dinners, the middle of the day food when we're not generally at home. So the kids will need packed lunches every day. Oh, that's not true, Tuesday to Friday, because we're actually at home on Monday anyway. And we're going to need meals, every night this week rather. We haven't got any extra after school activities or after work activities this week, thank goodness. So hopefully a normal week. Let's see how it pans out. I think one thing that I have been finding really helpful at the moment is, because I've got so many chicken pieces in the freezer that I need to get through, and I really need to sort of get to them. Every week I'm doing a chicken noodle soup, so a soup and pudding night, and that's working out really well. So whether it'll be chicken noodle soup every week or a different soup, we'll wait and see. But I'm really pleased at how that's working out, because when I'm doing the broth for the soup, although I've got these broths up here, which I did use last week, and for last week's one it was lovely, I'm going to be making some fresh too. And also when I'm on holiday, when I finish for Christmas, I'm going to be getting a load more turkey broth and things like that canned up. So these, I'm quite happy to use these because I do like looking at them. I know that's really sad. And I'm going to fill the shelves back up. If these aren't the only shelves that we've got, these are the ones that are on display. I'm not worried about them being in the light or anything like that. It's never been a problem. The other thing that we've got outside, we've got a little storeroom that we call the cold room or stores outside, and that's got quite a few of the canned goods in there too. And we're also looking to replace this dresser, which you guys know was in the utility, but we're looking to get a new dresser off Marketplace when one comes up, and we'll then use that dresser to fill the shelves up of canned goods too. For this week's menu plan, we were good Monday to Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday we ended up doing something different and used some of our entertainment budget. So every month we have a set amount of money that is for entertaining, so whether that, however we choose to use that, whether it's for the cinema, for eating out, for whatever. So we didn't use the belly pork slices, they're still there to use, and we didn't use the sausage meat, and that's absolutely fine. They're vac packed and in the fridge, so they'll be incorporated into some of the meals moving forward. The sausage meat could be used for breakfasts, and the belly pork slices Stephen will probably just snack on, to be honest, because that's how we roll. So don't worry if you write a menu plan out and things change. It's a guideline, it's a plan that if you need to stick to it, or, you know, I always advise that you should stick to it, because then it stops you from going and spending money that you don't want to spend. if that's what you're trying to do. But for us, again, if we've got a budget and if there's money in the other budget, I'm happy to do that. It's as long as we're not spending too much on either side of the fence. This week, I'm going to now get the menu plan written up based on the meat that we've got out of the freezer and the veggie bits that I've just got from Aldi. Nothing extravagant, we just got some carrots. The peppers that I get, the pointed peppers, are for lunches. We stuff those and have them instead of bread. We being Stephen, he's wanting to do that at the moment. As the week progresses, I'll show you bits and pieces and we can catch up. Today, I've actually got some sausages out. I've got 3 packs of sausages out of the freezer, which you saw, and the belly pork slices that I mentioned. I think actually what I'll do is for our meal tonight is make it's Sunday, the belly pork slices for Stephen and I'll just do sausages for the kids and we can just have whatever we want with some extra veg. I've got some veg harvested from the garden because I've been out working out there yesterday. There was quite a few carrots that I didn't realise were there or were any good. Hopefully they'll be okay to use because they've just come out of the ground, so I haven't really checked them too much. But if not, I have got carrots from Aldi too because we are going through quite a lot at the moment. Otherwise, I've got whatever's left in the pantry, which I can show you as we get to it and bring out ingredients for all the different recipes that we've got going on. As always, excuse the background noise. They are working on the roof outside. Don't know, you can't actually, oh, there you go. I don't look. Anyway, so I wanted to show you the recipe books that I'm using for inspiration this week are the National Trust. I've got more than actually you see in here. I love the National Trust books. They are just absolutely fantastic. And one of the recipes that are typical, I've closed the book now. Let me find it. There you go. So this week, as you saw, we got some diced venison out, and you know that we have got apricots sat in the fridge waiting to be used. So I'm going to have a go at making this week. I think that is looking amazing. What I like about the National Trust is they do like a little write-up to tell you about the recipe or the history of it wherever they can, and I just think that's brilliant. So there's going to be more game on our menu moving forward through December. I just like December as a more of a gamey month, and I'm going to go through these recipes now. I've just got back in from shopping, as I said, and I'm just going to have a cup of tea and a little look through for inspiration. And basically whatever meat I've got there, I'll just take some inspiration from these books to come up with the menu plan. Welcome to Monday. So tonight we're going to have the lamb loin that you saw me getting out of the freezer, and the kids are going to have sausages instead of lamb. That's by their request. I don't normally do 2 separate meats, but because there isn't that much lamb, quite happy to do that tonight. Grace actually doesn't even want sausages. She's just said she wants a toasty, but I've said you can have your veg and a toasty, but you've got to have the veg. You're not just having a toasty for tea. So she has kindly been, can you see, where is she? What are you doing? Huh? Making a right noise. The agar's been in full swing drying everything today, so I need to get that removed so that I can get on the chop and get working on there. Anyway, apart from the washing, Grace has just been and got me a full bowl of potatoes because we're going to have mashed potatoes with this. I've got some carrots. I'm just going to do some boiled carrots or steamed carrots. Well, no, they will be boiled actually, not steamed. I always think that sounds not as nice, boiled as steamed. I think when you say boiled, it sounds as though it's had every little bit of vitamins and nutrients pulled out of it. But anyway, they will be delicious, and just a really basic kind of gravy to go with it. So nothing else. Oh, the other thing that I've got, I had this in the pantry, or did we get, anyway, sage and onion stuffing. It's Aldi's take-off pack so stuffing. Stephen loves this, so I thought I'll do that as a little surprise for him as well. And then we'll see how we get on. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. These stuffings are a real time saver, especially for weeknights when you're not making your own from scratch. It's literally the pack of stuffing, 425ml of boiling water, and then you just mix it, pour it all in, not on the side, mix it in, leave it for 5 minutes and then bake it for about half an hour. Now obviously if you're not using the oven, you don't want to be just putting it on for this, but this is going in the agar, which is on all the time at the moment, so I'm making as much use of it as I can. So I'll give this a thorough mix and just leave it to stand while I'm doing the peeling the potatoes. For the potatoes, I'll take them out of here and put the peels back in the compost tin, and then that can go out tomorrow. And then once all of this is done, I need to go out and get the horses fed and get those all cleaned out so that they can enjoy their tea too. My goodness, what a messy worker. Annie's come in because she thinks I'm going to drop something, which is true, but maybe not on the floor, Annie. Right. I'll put some little blobs of butter on this before I put it in the oven, but that is as easy as it gets. How easy is that? And it's really nice. It's not just something, it's not one of those time savers where you don't enjoy it. It's really nice. So I've got my pans because I'm going to bring things to the boil on the top of the Aga and then pop them in what we call a bottom oven, basically to keep on cooking. And then we're good to go. These potatoes are still a little bit wet because they've just been washed. I love these ones. Can you see the party colour? As in PRTI, not PRTY. I've actually just ordered some seed potatoes, which will be next year's. They'll go in the ground maybe March time here. And I will be using some of my own that I've kept because that seemed to work this year, which I was really pleased about. But I've ordered some Charlotte variety potatoes because I was listening to one of Charles Dowdin's old vlogs or YouTube videos, whatever you want to call them. And he puts the Charlotte variety in, which comes up, I think he said about June. Did he say June? Because he followed them with leeks. If you're interested in gardening, that is. You've got the potatoes in first and then you put the leeks in when you harvest the potatoes. Now, the varieties that I've had, I tend to get out of the ground a little bit later, but that does mean that they may be subject to blight, which is a disease that can wipe out your crop if you're not careful. So I think next year I'm going to try that different variety. I've ordered a few to get in and we'll see how they get on because he said that they store really well as well. Even though they're not classed as a main crop potato, apparently they store really well. So I guess it'll be seen if we can use them for things like roast potatoes and mashed potatoes as well as just salad type potatoes because I'm not overly keen, whoops, on lots of salad potatoes. And for anyone that's interested, I've said before, I peel my potatoes generously, shall we say, because I'm quite happy for these peelings to go back in the compost heap. Feed us again. So tonight we're going to make some macaroni pasta, not for macaroni cheese, which, would you believe, I've never ever actually had. But it's just some pasta that I wanted something nice and quick. We don't generally like pasta except like lasagna at the moment. So I thought if I can use this, I've got some ham. I did that ham in the bottom of the Aga and I did that sugar sort of honey crust with it. So I thought if I could chop some of that up with mushrooms, onions, some garlic, some extra mustard, some peas because I don't have any broccoli. I would put broccoli in if I had it. I don't think I have. Anyway, and just get a few veggies in there. I might put some spinach in, the frozen spinach I could do. And essentially it's just going to be a pantry item tea meal tonight. So I'm going to get that on. I'm also going to put red onion in, not one of the other onions, just so I can start using some of these. And we'll just top it off with some of the sauerkraut that we've still got in the jars in the fridge. I might put some kimchi juice in there. I don't know, we'll see as we go on. But just a nice, quick and easy tea for tonight because I'm getting tired quite quickly today. I was just chopping this onion up. It makes such a difference having sharp knives. I don't normally use the longer knives to chop up the onions, but Stephen used this recently. He sharpened it for something and my goodness. So to sharpen his knives, he just uses a steel, an old-fashioned steel, and something that's called a clicker, or at least that's what we refer to it as. And I know that we've been asked before about how he sharpens his knives, and he's not stood here with me to show you now. But I will link the clicker either on the screen or below to show you what it is that he uses. And I don't think that's the actual kind of sharpener. I think it just finishes off a sharp knife. So he uses the steel first and then he uses this clicker. But when I get hold of him, because he's busy all over the place at the moment, especially with it being near Christmas, I shall ask him to do a bit of a demonstration on what he does. One more mushroom. I love mushrooms. I'm just going to fry these off. I'll add the ham last, so I'll get these cooked down because the ham's already cooked, it just needs heating through. I'll just use some of this lard to cook them down in. I've got olive oil there, but I prefer to use the lard, so just a little bit of this. We'll get these cooked down And I'll grab the peas out of the freezer. And what else can I use? Just while I'm getting this out, I've got a clip. I didn't talk in it, but I just showed you what I was doing. I actually revived my sourdough starter again the other day because over the winter, when I've hopefully got a little bit more time off work, I really want to get back into doing the sourdough. I absolutely love the taste of it, which I wasn't sure if I would because it's sour. But I really do like it, and it's obviously got so many more health benefits, and I'm really getting back on that wagon of nutritional food, or at least thinking it in that headspace, even though I might not be fully living it just at the moment. So I've got the sourdough starter done, and I also was using it to balance the ham. I also did my kefir yesterday as well. So this has just got a tablespoon of kefir grains in, about 500 ml of whole milk. And this is essentially kefir milk now. So all I'll show you when I'm talking over this, I'll show you what I was doing with the sourdough starter and with the kefir grains. But essentially all you do is put this through a sieve, take the kefir grains out, put them into a brand new jar, top the jar up, and leave it again to turn over at room temperature for another 24 to 48 hours, and then you've got kefir milk. The reason that it's in the fridge is because once it's ready and it's at how your taste, you put it in the fridge to slow the ferment down. And you should really take the kefir grains out to do, or you don't, not that you should, but you could take the kefir grains out to do that. I just popped it in there because I didn't want it on the counter any longer when I was rushing out. So at least that slowed the fermentation down. I can strain that. And what I'll do, I'll just use it in just as a drink, to be honest. I found it quite palatable. Again, I didn't think I would, but I do. So I'm just having that. It's supposed to be really good to help you sleep. And although I've been doing other things to help me sleep as well, I have to say it is working, whether it's that or whether it's the other things that I'm doing. But it's nice to be able to get a full night's sleep for a change. Anyway, I need to get this done. I've got a couple of these huge garlic cloves. So I'm going to replant some of these. I've got quite a few of them and they're really, really big. So I'm not sure, being me, I did lose the labels, didn't keep track properly. I'm not sure if they're elephant or not. They're not as big as I would expect elephants to be. Oh, I'm sorry. Elephant garlic cloves to be, but they are very big, and 2 is probably more than enough for most people, so I'm going to get these in. We've got the garlic in there and just what I've got left of some whole grain mustard. I'm just going to stir that in and add in some chicken broth. I haven't drank it, I promise. I had a tiny little bit of white wine left because I'm not a white wine drinker. And I also did find just a few broccoli stalks in the fridge. I thought I had some when I was saying I didn't have any, and it made me question myself. So I've just literally popped those in. I'm going to put the lid on. I've added a tiny little bit of the pasta water. That macaroni is just cooking down for about 10 minutes. I've added a tiny little bit of the pasta water in here as well. And I'm going to pop the lid on, cook the broccoli, and then add the cream cheese and the peas. I'll put the ham, can't forget the ham. But I'll only add the peas and the ham in at the very end. Just for a minute or 2 to heat through, and we should be good to go. This pasta's boiling over. So in here I have added the ham, the cream cheese that I haven't stirred in, peas and some parsley. And I was just leaving it to heat through a little bit. I'm literally just going to stir this in now. There's quite a lot in there because it's a big dish, looking for leftovers as well. And I'll get this served up. The lighting is terrible, but you get the gist. This is sauerkraut, and they're just the pasta served with some cracked pepper.